Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Ule Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, we're starting with the devil. Here we go. Not bad energy. Okay, you might see this card and think, yo, Lenore, what are you doing to me? I'm not trying to start my day with this devil energy or in my night with this devil energy. Well, I argue that this is one of the more positive, energetic forces that could show up in our life. Now, it's not always pretty and it's not always easy, but this is the breaker of chains. Often people read it as being chained to something, your behaviors, your conditioning, your coping mechanisms, addictions, proclivities, whatever. To me, it's all about saying, I'm not gonna do what you tell me to do anymore. I'm not gonna live in somebody else's world anymore. I'm not going to, abide the social mores if they are not serving me and my peoples well. In fact, I'm going to do the opposite. This is a feeling of defiance. This is a feeling of rebellion. This is a feeling of standing up in your truth and not taking the BS anymore. I forgot to shut my door when I started. I'm in a little walk-in closet. Now, when I was setting up this new little area that I film in, somebody was like very concerned that I'm working in a closet. Now, nobody's forcing me. Let me just be clear. It's just easier and cheaper to soundproof a walk-in closet than it is an entire room. And I honestly was getting kind of annoyed having to soundproof little by little for so long. So anyways, I forgot to shut my door. But yeah, so we have this energy. I'm happy to see it. It means that there's some kind of change occurring. If that is in your belief system, if that's in how you're living, if that's in just like, yo, I'm not going to let these people treat me the way that they do anymore. You know, you're finally just like, I'm done. I'm taking care of myself first. And I'm going to go where I feel welcome, where I feel, myself, where I can exist without shame. I feel like a lot of us are getting to this point, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. I see these things a lot for, women that are in my age group, because a lot of us we're like flirting with perimenopause. We might be in menopause. And, I don't think that's the only reason, but you just get to an age where it's kind of like, man, I couldn't care less what you think. I could not care less about making anybody else happy at this point. I'm just doing me, baby. So, we are ourselves. Like, it feels insane to me that it is an act of bravery to just be ourselves. Because when you hit that point where it's like, I'm just going to be what I am, I'm going to do what I like to do. And, not that I'm going to harm anybody in the process or, stomp on anybody's feelings. But, when you get to that point, there's such freedom. And then you look back and you think, what have I been doing? And also, shout out to everybody who made me feel like I had to be something that I'm not along the way. Because they're all struggling with the same thing. And it's just this endless cycle that just really doesn't need to be. So, I don't know. Maybe you're with me. Maybe we're all going through it. Maybe I'm just projecting. Who knows? All I know is I want us all to eat, and I want us all to, have some amount of freedom. Mind, body, spirit. All right, so let's get started here. We have a person who seems to be kind of running amok, going through the different moods. It feels like shifting through moods. Here, kind of coupled up in this like embrace, entanglement, and then running, and then wanting and trying to make up for what? I don't know. Dipping, ghosting, trying to, overcompensate where they have been wrong. And then in the end here, it almost looks like a scarecrow with the birds kind of sitting. So to me, it's almost kind of like somebody in your life who is many things, as we all are. We're all going to go through cycles of being and identity and how we communicate and our energy and all of that. That's normal. It's normal. But I think in this case, it's like seeing somebody, really kind of be in one posture for some amount of time, and you get to know this person. And then there's almost kind of like an acute incident or moment or, this very apparent shift in their personality. And that's not to say that they are intentionally kind of, like trying to hide who they are. I don't feel like this is like a put on or that they were misleading you or anything like this, but I feel like it's more like it within the realm of mental health. Okay, let me just be clear. It feels like a mental health issue. And I feel like there's a sense of chaos. And it's abrupt. Like, it's a shift that's hard to understand. And now, if you are if you are somebody who has ever been around people who have mental health issues and there's so many kinds, right? This is just a very general blanketed statement. But, you might be somebody who's been around people. Maybe you come from a family that has things. My family runs the gamut. Trauma, addiction, bipolar, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, learning disabilities, autism, borderline, and I laugh because it's just, to me, this is just normal. And these are the kinds of people I grew up around. This is the kind of person I am, my favorite people in life. I always say this. Not always, but I do seem to favor people that are, I don't know, maybe schizotypal or schizophrenic or, dwell in their kind of skewed thinking or maybe distorted thinking. Because I understand them. I don't know what to say. I don't have schizophrenia, but I grew up around it, so it makes sense to me. Not everything, not every delusion or whatever, but I can clock somebody that is, that dwells on that spectrum better than I can most people. So I can imagine when you're not used to this or you have some understanding of it, but then it's like you don't necessarily notice it about somebody, and all of a sudden they have this, whatever it is, like a flare up, or, they shift into a cycle abruptly, or, become manic or delusional or paranoid or whatever. That can feel you know, because it's not usually just all of a sudden you're like, oh yes, they're having a mental health crisis. It starts to happen little by little, and then all of a sudden, right? And so sometimes it's just kind of like, oh, they're really getting into some different stuff, I guess. I mean, and then it starts to become more serious and like they're very, very like matter of fact about this is what's happening. And and you're like, okay, now I don't, I'm starting to wonder what's happening here. I wonder if this is a romantic, at least possibility, like a person you have a crush on, or you're getting to know them, you're courting them. Maybe you are with them. Maybe you've been together for a while. Maybe you're married, and they have some kind of, I don't know if they call this anymore, but like a nervous breakdown type of deal, right? I'm allowed to say that because I've had a few. But I feel like it's like you see them differently. And this is very eggshelly area, okay? Because it's touchy to be somebody in a dynamic where you're not the one in crisis. You might not be equipped, or it might be that you grew up around it, like I said, and this is something that's very triggering, Like for me, I can't be around people that drink. I could never like be in a relationship with somebody who drinks a lot or drinks at all, probably. Thankfully my husband doesn't drink anymore. He's sober now, but not because I judge people who drink. It's just very triggering to me. The smell, the behavior, the way people speak when they're drinking. It's triggering, So sometimes things happen. It's out of the control of anybody involved. And then we have to make a decision. Like, is this something that is honestly sustainable in my life? Can I deal with this reasonably? I mean, honestly. In the quietest moment when you're sitting in your bed at 6 a.m. in the morning, nobody's awake, the sun's coming in a little bit, and you're sitting there, you're waking up, and you're being honest with yourself. You're not influenced by anything yet. You're not worried about what anybody thinks because you are talking to yourself. You are in this moment with yourself, and you, in that moment, no, you don't have to tell me, but tell yourself right now out loud, is this something that you can actually deal with? Can you show up for this situation, this person, this dynamic in this state and continue to live the life in the way that you need to, that you want to, on your healing journey, while also being involved with something that is going on like this? And it's probably something that is going to happen again and again. And again, there's no blame. It's just the reality. It's the facts of the thing. And, sometimes we have to have this honest conversation with ourselves. And I know it's not easy. And it is hard to even think about or hear, being somebody who has mental health issues myself, because I know I'm not a picnic. In fact, I can be a terrible person sometimes. Now, whose fault that is, I don't know. But it's the truth of the matter. And I have, in times in my life, been a poor partner. I have been a bad friend, a bad family member, even cruel, selfish, destructive. I have done all of those things, and knowing that at times I have had people in my life who had to walk away, and rightfully so, to protect themselves because of not only, my behaviors and stuff, but because of my mental health. And that's hard to hear. It's hard to think about. It's hard to, take responsibility for. Because it's not really anybody's fault. Now, I take responsibility for my actions, but it's touchy. But it's the truth. It's the truth. There are people that I love immensely. People that I would probably do anything for, that I cannot have in my life because of their mental health. Because I have a child, and I can't have them around my child. And I can't be around them because it brings me to a place within myself that I don't want to go. And I know I can't. So I look at this and I'm feeling like, there's something very, very sensitive here. It feels fragile. But you're not fragile. You're not fragile. And you will be honest with yourself. I know that you will, Gemini. You always are, right? Maybe to a fault sometimes. But I have to say, and I won't get too into this because it is a Gemini reading and she might listen. But I always thought Gemini is like the worst sign that I could ever know. Now, I had a daughter a few years ago. She's 5 now. She ended up being a Gemini. I was praying to God she stayed in long enough to be a Cancer. Nope. And I thought, well, here I go with this Gemini daughter. Honestly, Geminis are my favorite. They are one of my favorite peoples now, especially feminine Gemini. People that are, you don't have to be a woman, but a little more feminine Gemini. And now, and I've known her for a few years now, but now one of my BFFs is a Gemini. And literally one of the coolest people I've ever met. So, I know that you're not going to put up with something that you can't deal with. I know that you're not going to put it on for anybody, Gemini. But at times we do. We have to just sit ourselves down and be super radically honest about, is this something that I can actually deal with? And it hurts. It hurts when you have to walk away. But you know what? Sometimes we do. Sometimes we just have to. And if you happen to be dealing with somebody who has like co-occurring things like a mental health and addiction, I'm not like a huge 12-step person, but I will say, please at least look into Al-Anon. That's Al-Anon, Al-Anon. This is for people that are family members, spouses, significant others, teachers, mentors, caretakers of people who have addiction, okay, who are in addiction, who have had addiction. Maybe you grew up in a family where there was addiction present. These days, who doesn't, right? So it is 12-step. It's not AA. It's not NA. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. That would be for the addict. This is for the family that surrounds the addict, right? And addiction is a family disease, as they say. You might not want to go to meetings. Maybe you do. And if you do, I absolutely support that you should. Go find some community. Find that you are not alone in your struggles with your family member. But looking at the materials, at least. Look at the steps. Look at some of the literature. I think it's so helpful. You don't have to do all of it. You don't have to do any of it. But to just plant the seeds, So anyways, let's keep going. It looks like we do have 2 people holding hands right in here. We have, it looks like it says ear, E-A-R. So I do wonder if there's something going on with your ear, if you've been having like maybe a congested ear, maybe an ear infection, maybe there's some kind of fluid or water trapped in the ear. Just make sure that you're taking care of that. It feels like something that could become very bothersome. Maybe going to the doctor if you have access to medical. If you're in America, you might not. It's a privilege to see a doctor here. If not, packing it with things like a little bit of peppermint on a piece of gauze or toilet paper. Things like this, making sure that you're getting enough fluids to help clear out your sinuses, steaming it, and that kind of thing. Just taking care of the good ear health. It's amazing how much different life feels when you can barely hear anything. I just finally got, like, I was feeling better, and now I think I'm starting to get a cold again, possibly. You can probably hear that in my voice, but it's wild how much it's like, all of a sudden my ear popped and I can hear everything again. And then, you forget what it's like to not have that ability to hear, everything at the level you usually do. So anyways, that being said, keep your sinuses cleared up as much as you can. Now, we also have what looks like a person who is, I almost feel like they're delivering something. They're delivering something up here, and we have a devil energy up here. We also have the letter CB, and down here it looks like we have two people, one person holding a baby. So here's a person, mouth open, another person kind of, and so to me, it kind of almost feels like there's a situation within the family or friends group where two people are together, they have a family, they have a child, and yet they are not supported by their family members. Maybe their parents don't like their chosen spouse or something like this. But I feel like for you have become more of a primary family member for them. And I see you being kind of almost like a acquired, like auntie or uncle or grandparent or, something like this to their kids or grandkids. So I do feel like there is this sense of choosing your own family, having people come into your life that I feel there's a significant connection there. Now, I do feel like this person, they are bringing something to you, maybe an opportunity. It does feel like all of a sudden there's this gift that they are giving you. I'm interested. I want to find out. Let's go over to... I'll put this stuff over here if I can reach it. Ooh. Where am I going to put it? You know what is ridiculous, you guys? I was going to set my table up again yesterday. And I'm like, okay, this time I'm just going to do less stuff so I have more room. Well, guess what? Now I literally have less room because I put more stuff than I even had last time. So there you go. That kind of sums up my life right there. Right there. Okay, so let's find out. What is it that you have to offer? Or what are you going to offer to the situation for them? Oh, flirtation. Okay. Maybe I have this wrong. Maybe this is somebody in your life that maybe you're both divorced or, maybe this is a little hottie at drop off or something and you're I don't know. Maybe you're getting to know each other. Oh, goodness. Look at that. Lust. Okay, so this definitely, maybe it's like, you know, like one of your neighbors, you're both grandparents, you saw this dude gramping it up, like really involved, playing basketball with his grandkids, and now you're just like fully like smitten. It could be that, right? Could that be it? I don't know. But I do feel I'm interested. What kind of gift are they laying down? what are they bringing to the table? Oh, a bluff. Ooh. Wah, wah. Well, we've all been there, right? Empathy. Okay. So I almost kind of feel like this is a person that you realize quickly, like they need attention. They will go, out of their way to be super nice and of service and up in the mix and attracting people because literally they're probably very lonely. Like this is a lonely person. They could have all the friends, have a room full of people. They're still lonely. Okay. So I feel like they're kind of like a love bomber type of person. This is a person that's going to lay it on thick and discrimination. So I feel like you're very discerning in this situation. You're not going to be fooled. Although, yeah, like there's a lot of like lust because of the flirty nature. And yeah, you're not immune to that, but you see through, what's going on, obviously. Okay, so very showy-offy. This is like I'm heavily leaning into this as like a divorced person who's like getting back out there. And they treat the people that they're trying to date like they would treat their wife or their husband, right? Like it's just 1 to 100, like in a second, right? Like they just put it all into their communicating and the way that they flirt and like touch and all of that, and like you see through it, but it doesn't mean that you don't like the feeling of it a little bit. You're not gonna like marry them or anything, but well, maybe you will, I don't know. But I think that you are willing to look past it a little bit and be understanding, I think. Okay, let's see. Now we have the name. It could be Lee. Lee, maybe. Lee. We have a heart and a spade. So I think being, logical about things, that's important. That's going to remain important for you. Not just letting yourself go all the way in right off the bat. I also feel that there is... Interesting. We have a hen, we have the devil, we have the empress, and we have a fish. I feel like there is a sense of somebody kind of lurking on the edge here. And it has to do with money. Like this is somebody who sees what you have and they want it. Put up the evil eye, the Nazar, whatever it is, whatever talisman you use for the evil eye, this one needs to be cleaned off. This hasn't set in. Like they have no power in the situation. They've just noticed you and your people and your family. It could ramp up, but do a cleansing. Just do a cleansing, get fresh air through the house. If you happen to live in a place where there's wind, go out into the wind. Say a prayer while you're letting the wind cleanse you. Let it just stand in it, literally. Just let it blow your hair around, your body, your clothes, all of it. Just let it go. Say a prayer and a protection prayer. While you're doing so, I do not think that this will take hold. Okay, we're going to be proactive. I feel that, like, it feels like a yellow eye. One that is angry, searching, you know, feel like hurt. A hurt person looking to hurt somebody else kind of deal. I don't think that they know that. I don't think they're self-aware like that, but that's what it is. Okay. Oh, man, I forgot to find my die. Where did my die go? I dropped it somewhere. I must have. It's not up here. Where did you go? I can't see it. I'm in a small area, so I can't. If I stand up, I'm going to maybe move the camera. I don't know. Maybe I took it with me yesterday to do, like, IRL readings. Oh, I see it. I don't think I can reach it, though, you guys. Okay. I'm going to try. I'm sorry. I know. This is ridiculous. Thankfully, it's at the end. Ah! Okay, here we go. Are we going to get it without... Can I reach you? Where are you? There it is. There it is. There it is. I got it. I got it. There it is. Hopefully you didn't see the side of my face too much. Looking like a Simpsons character or something. All right, let's do 3 lucky numbers. 50. 50. 50 for the first one. The second one is 15. 50, 15, and 44. 44. All right. And we will end with our Mystique Magdalene oracle cards, right? Are they oracle? Yes. Okay. And they're beautiful, by the way. They're so gorgeous. I never really use them on videos, but I should more often because they are so pretty. 35. Magdalene meditating. Retreat. Retreat. Time for yourself, baby. Got to think about some things. Well, and we have that Capricorn energy too with the Devil cards, so that makes sense to me. Reassessing, doing inventory, you know, just kind of looking things over, away from the influence of others. So anyhow, I love you. Thank you for being here. It's always such a pleasure for me to be able to do these readings. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you again. I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk soon. Good night.